Hey, Steven.
Yo.
Guess what I'm doing on Saturday?
Riding your bike.
No, well, I may ride my bike, but my brother the other day asked me if I will watch the kids.
Oh, babysitting.
I've never been asked to watch the kids. I volunteered to watch the kids before, but they've never taken me up on it.
He's going to come home to his house burning down.
Don't say that.
It's a joke.
So what happened is, I guess my sister-in-law is going down the shore with her mother. My brother's going to be reffing basketball. He's got 2 basketball games in the afternoon. And
you guys
evening.
all ref, huh?
We do. My dad started umpiring baseball back in the day because I think he got tired of yelling at umpires and thought that he could do a better job. Actually, I should probably ask him, why did he start doing it? Maybe
that sounds like it runs in the Polin family, that you guys think you could do a better job than everybody else.
Well, he became a baseball umpire. Then he started to ref basketball, so he did 2 sports. I started doing baseball first, then ice hockey. So I did baseball and ice hockey, and then my brother got into doing basketball as well. And he does like varsity women's, and I'm not sure if he gets college games or not, but he's very good at what he does as well. We all have a good mentality for reffing. Like, fuck you.
Was it one of those things where just because your dad did it, you wanted to do it, or did he push it on you, or how'd that work out?
Well, part of it with baseball was my dad was the assigner, and when he was assigning our Little League at Northampton Little League, he kicked out all the adults. He's like, no adults are going to be umping any games because they kind of all sucked. They really did. The umpires there were really, really bad. Nobody wants to do it because you get yelled at. But my dad took it upon himself to take over the umpires and train the kids, right? 13, 14, 16-year-olds, whatever, 17, 18-year-olds, kids to be the umpires because... One, you can get paid, so you get I think it was maybe $20. You didn't get a lot of money for doing baseball.
Yeah, but that's
not
as much money. Buy some candy.
Well, yeah, not as much as hockey though. But so we would have a clinic, and instead of learning rules, right? Learning the rule book is a pain in the ass. You're not going to really learn the rule book by reading it. You're going to learn things by going through scenarios and situations. So my dad put together like a list of 10 or 20 different things to talk about. But the most important thing has always been positioning. If you're in the wrong position, you're bound to miss calls and get yelled at. All he really cared about at the beginning for umpires to do, us young kids as umpires, was fair, foul, safe, and out, and ball and strike, right?
The basics, yeah.
The basics. If you call balls, call strikes, call fair, call foul, safe, and out. If you're in position and you sell your calls, great. So we would always be in position. We practice being in position at the clinic. Then we would go over scenarios and the most common things that you run into. You're not going to know every rule. You're not going to know them. You're just not going to know every little subtle nuance. You're going to learn it along the ways. But all that mattered is that you were in position and you sold the call. Like when you punch someone out at first base, you fucking sell the goddamn call. Or safe. It's like this, Steven. You ready?
It's not a puny little safe. It's a safe.
Well, it depends. You don't need to sell every call. That's a mistake that some people make. They try to sell every call. If it's not a close play, it's just you don't even need to really verbalize it. You could just put your arms out. It's not close. Not close at all. But if it's a bang bang play, you're like, safe!
So you're either a mime or you're very vocal.
Safe! But so what you're looking for at first base, you watch you watch for where the foot's going to hit, and you listen. Also, baseball is very important to listen for a play because what you're going to hear are 2 things distinctly at first base. By the way, this is RAWtalk episode 27, where we talk about baseball umpiring and officiating. So this is what you're listening for when you're with the first base umpire. There's 2 sounds. There's going to be 2 things. One, stepping on the bag, and the other is the ball hitting the glove. So depending on which one comes first will tell you whether someone is safe or out.
It's interesting.
Right? Yeah, you're listening. You're looking down at the bag because you want to see the player's foot hit the bag. You also want to see if the first baseman's foot is on the bag, but you're listening. And that's why you don't want to rush to conclusion, Matt, all the time. You don't want to just make the call right. It depends. Sometimes it's bang, bang. You punch him out. Sometimes you just wait a quick second because you want to make sure that the kid, they caught the ball. But bang, 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 you fucking boom. And I would just go boom, and I'd punch the kid out. Boom. It's just like this, Steven.
Punch him right in the face.
Like this. Boom. That's how I had my fault. Or you just punch him
that's
like
cool.
right
I mean,
there.
it seems like he made reffing his own little sport almost.
He did. He made it fun.
Yeah,
and
made
it was
fun.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then for those out there who are yelling at their audio right now going, but what happens if you hear the tap at the same time? The ball hits the glove and the foot hits the bag at the same time. There will be those umpires that tell you that there's no such thing as a tie in baseball, or tie goes to the runner, and then they say there's no such thing. You know what? Those guys are assholes. They're just these pretentious guys that want to go by the rule book. They're the ones who never were any good at anything and that have to be such anal assholes about it that, look, is there a tie? If a ball hits the glove and the player's foot hits the bag at the same time, if it's the same time, Steven, is that a tie? Yes, because it's the same time. But you have to determine, is he safe or out? The answer is, in my opinion, and I think in everybody's in legitimacy, is if it's a tie, he's not out because the ball didn't beat him there. The foot is already on the bag at the same time. It doesn't make any sense, but it does actually make sense. So then he's safe. He's safe in that case. Anyway.
Man, I need to remember not to engage. Just you'll go off the rails for like 10 minutes about a certain topic. It's like, all right, I just asked one little question. No tangent needed.
Yeah, so anyway, coming back.
Let me explain the entire sport of reffing.
Yeah, umping and umping is fantastic. I loved umping. Anyway, I'll be watching the kids for the first time. My brother's like, hey, you've been asking, or you said this, and you haven't said it in a while, but would you watch the kids? And I'm like, when? He's like, Saturday, like 1:30, come on over. I'm like, all right. I don't know what to do. I mean, I decided what we're going to do. So they're going to be 8, right? They're going to be 8 in December. Their birthday's coming up, and I'll be going to their birthday party. Oh, I'm going to leave their birthday party early. Is that okay?
I think that's fine. I
do you
mean,
know
unless
why
you're
I'm
leaving
leaving early?
like 20 minutes early.
20 minutes after I show up?
Yeah, 20 minutes after you show up.
No, I'm leaving early because at the Transparent Gallery in Asbury Park, Danny Clinch's gallery, he's having Pete Souza from 7 to 9 at night.
Okay.
And so tickets were expensive at $75 plus fees, so it was $80-some. But I bought it. I haven't seen Pete in person.
This
I've
is New York
him.
or?
No, it's Asbury Park, New Jersey. So it takes me like an hour and 15 minutes to get there roughly, because I'll go down. So I'll leave the birthday a little early, but it starts at 3 and I can leave at 5 because I'll get there by 6 something.
I just had my niece's 7th birthday party actually this past weekend, and I did not leave early because I was a good uncle.
This is different. But this is different. There's going to be like 40 kids running around.
I know, it's fine. Same with hers. It was at an indoor trampoline park, and it was awesome, dude. So much fun.
Hey, why don't we do our employee excursion to the trampoline park?
That would be fun.
With Dan and we got to bring his kid.
It's
we
like
bring
a
little
workout
Dan
too. It really is.
Do we bring little Dan and watch him get in trouble on the trampolines?
I mean, I think it makes the most sense that little Dan is there and that we're not there.
No. Do you think little Dan knows how to bounce on a trampoline, or you think he would just run across?
I would think bounce. I mean, that's the whole point of a trampoline.
You think Dan will break in half being he's a stick? What about his nipple rings?
Dude, I double bounced so many little kids by accident when I was there.
I mean,
and it specifically says no double bouncing. I'm like, I don't mean to. I just weigh a lot more than them.
I think there's a trampoline park near where I'm taking them.
You should go.
Is it expensive though?
I don't know. It was a whole group package, so we were all covered. But I think it's maybe, if I had to guess, $20 for a session or something like that. You get like 2 hours.
Feasterville Trampoline Park, Sky Zone.
It will keep them busy because it's not just trampolines. They have like a whole like Lego section, giant blocks. They've got slides. They've got all kinds of cool things. I got to sign a
waiver. Am I allowed to sign a waiver for the kids?
You have to sign a waiver.
Am I allowed to do that?
You need to. They're under 18.
I know, but am I allowed to? I'm not their parent.
Yeah, but you're still their guardian for that day.
Get directions.
And you get special grippy socks so you don't slide all over the place.
Well, you know who bought me a pair of bonobos with knipples on the bottom?
That's what
Vanessa
they had.
Joy.
It was basically that.
Oh, I can bring my own?
No, well, the place we went to, you had to use theirs. It was included with the,
Oh. Park roll safety video, contact, I don't want to, all right, screw this. But so what I'm going to do for the kids, I told my brother, I'm like, have they been bowling before? He's like, no. I'm like, I'm going to take them bowling.
Do they have like small bowling balls for kids? I don't remember going
6
bowling
pounds,
as
8 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. The different plastic balls. And then they have bumpers that automatically come up between each throw. Because I don't throw with bumpers. I'm bringing my balls with me.
I would think you didn't throw with bumpers.
No. I threw a 246 the other day.
Nice.
That's pretty good. I will not be throwing with bumpers, but I'm going to take the kids there. Then maybe I'll take them. I'm taking them to Brunswick Zone because
the one near me.
It's not called Brunswick Zone anymore.
Something
Sorry,
with a B,
it's called.
Right?
It's called a Bolero, but in Feasterville, in Feasterville, PA, where I used to go, and it used to be a Heckinger's back when I was a kid. This area, it used to be street lanes because it was on street road.
We just always had Brunswick near us.
Right. And so it's a Bolero. They bought Brunswick. And so they have an arcade there, but maybe I know in the same shopping center, they do have the Sky Zone. So maybe we'll do bowling and then Sky Zone. I'll ask my brother if I can do that.
That sounds like a pretty sweet day for a kid.
So I'm taking them to do that. This should be their birthday gift. Fuck that. I'm not going to give them anything else. This should be their birthday gift. Spending time with me. People pay good money for that.
The only thing I recommend is do not wear a lot of clothing if you're at that trampoline park, because the place I was at was crazy hot because there's so many little kids running around sweating and the whole room's just hot. You add me to the mix, I'm already sweaty.
Do you know what I'm going to bring? I will bring yoga pants and shorts.
That sounds great.
And my tight shirt.
That's probably perfect, yeah.
I'll be bouncing around. So that's let me tell you what we got. So I'm going to watch the kids. I got to figure out dinner. I got to take them to dinner, and then I got to bring them home, and then I don't know what time kids go to bed.
It depends. Everyone's different. Some people are on a strict schedule. Some aren't. I don't know. I would think 8 or 9 for them. Probably 9.
Yeah. What time do you go to bed,
old.
Kids? What time do you go to bed, you 8-year-olds?
Watch a good movie before you go to bed.
And they're twins, by the way. They're twins.
Yeah.
So on this episode, we have a lot to talk about.
A lot.
Like this birthday stuff. We've got Black Friday stuff to talk about. I want to talk about Gary V real quick about his YouTube. We've got Steven's going to be doing a holiday portrait. We got photo book discussions,
rumors,
R6 versus R6 II, and an R5 rumor, and whatever else we decide to talk about. So before we get into that, the kids' birthday's coming up. Do you want to know what I bought them?
Didn't you already tell us what you bought them? The tickets to you fighting or something?
Oh, well, Boxing? I made them. They're official. Look. I made it.
Did you just print them out, or that's funny?
Yes. I went to Storyblocks and I downloaded a ticket template that I didn't have to cut too much. I did fail at the rounded corners.
It says 5 minutes of fighting, subject to rules made by Uncle Jared.
So
always reffing.
They each get 4 tickets.
That's cool.
And that gives them 5 minutes of fighting. But I've already thought of this, that if they both want to, I will only fight once in a day for 5 minutes. So that means if they both want to participate on that day, they both have to use a ticket. They both have to burn a ticket. I will not be doing it twice, just once in a day. So if they both want to fight me in that day, they got to use 1 ticket.
Oh, all right.
And they also have to ring the bell. I'm showing Steven the bell.
Where'd you get that? Oh, that's great.
I got it on Amazon for $69.99.
You spent $70 just to have a bell.
I spent $70 to have a bell. I wanted should I get one for the studio? They make one that's twice as big as this.
Oh my God. Of course you couldn't even buy like a cheap dinky one. You had to buy like the real thing.
I couldn't. But then it was like $150 if I wanted the digital one that's like ding, 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 and then has the timer.
At this point, man, you got to spend the $300 on the Michael Buffer cameo.
Michael Buffer cameo. Alrighty, kids. Oh,
you got the bell now.
Let's get ready to... I'm going to just ding this all day at the factory from here on out. I'm going to order one. Yes, $69.99 on Amazon. It's a real good bell. That's funny.
Sounds
my
legit.
brother may not... if my brother doesn't want to keep it, I'll take it. I'll probably try to talk him out of it so I could keep it. It'd be funny, right? So I also got one of the kids. I got him a metal detector. My brother said he was interested in that.
I've never used one.
Maybe I just get that for the kids. I don't want to get them 2 of everything. Fuck that. They have to learn how to share. Like, here, you both get a metal detector. One uses it and the other doesn't. No, I'm not getting you 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's the downside of being a twin, though. I mean, you got to share everything, and it's like, why can't I just get my own?
Yeah, but I don't think they both need to get the same thing. Yeah. Right? I don't think they should both get the same thing. Plus, I didn't buy a cheap one. I upgraded and got him one that's better.
You had to buy the real deal.
I didn't want to buy the shitty one. I wanted to get him something that he could grow with. It's just more important that way.
They're going to use it one time and never again.
If he doesn't use it, I will beat that kid.
That's what kids do. They use it for like a week and they're like, I'm over it.
That's why we don't get them too many things. Plus, what am I supposed to get them? Because then the holidays come right around after their birthday. That's unfair for us.
Well, so I have, for example, my one nephew was born on Christmas Eve, and I always have to figure out, like, all right, I got to get him a dedicated birthday gift and a Christmas gift at the same time.
He still gets screwed.
He does, unfortunately, yeah. His mom my sister tries to really make a big deal of his birthday on Christmas Eve and not kind of combine it with Christmas Day. That's tough.
Do you know that you don't have kids open their birthday gifts at the party anymore?
Yeah, my niece's birthday party we just went to, we didn't see them open gifts. They opened it after.
You know why?
Well, there I just assumed we had limited time. But
well, I think I figured it out because in the 80s, we just opened gifts and we're like, yeah, it's from Johnny. Johnny, thanks for the used T-shirt. You know, because you don't want to offend someone. And so now, and it totally makes sense. You don't want a kid who couldn't like afford something. His parents couldn't afford it. And the kid feels bad that they like.
My only thing is I do like to see the reaction from the gift that I give them if I really put a lot of thought into it. And it's kind of sucks when you don't see that in person. You just hear after the fact like, oh, they really like the gift. And it's like, well, I wanted to kind of see it.
All right, let's move on to the holiday dinner, Stephen. Are you excited for the holiday dinner?
I am. Surf and turf. It's what I do every year.
Are you getting surf and turf?
Of course. It's going to be the last thing on their specials list. You're going to have to hear every single special and then finally surf and turf.
Are you gonna did you learn from the years past, or are you gonna also get extra appetizers and extra things?
I haven't done that for a few years.
You haven't, because I told you the first year, you're like, no, it's not going to be enough. And then you're like, holy shit.
The issue is because everything's a la carte, so it's very big sides that you're getting. You're not just getting a small like mashed potato, you're getting a giant one.
We're going to a place called The Saloon in Philly. It's been around since the 1950s. We go there every year for the holiday dinner. Steven brings his wife. Dan brings his wife. I bring no one. And... Did you like my text message to Dan yesterday?
I did. I liked it
because we almost had a vegan order something 2 years ago. There was a vegan attending. I won't tell you who it was, but she ordered veal parmesan by accident, and I was sitting
we all kind of looked. We're like, wait, what? You sure you want to order that?
She's like, oh, I meant eggplant. I'm like, yeah. Why don't you just eat food? So Dan was like, oh, they got. Maybe they have some new vegan options this year. I was like, oh, they do. They have vegan filet and vegan veal. He's like, oh, really? Maybe it's made out of seitan. And I was like, no, it's made out of fucking cows and lambs or whatever, the baby cows. Yeah, baby cows. I'm like, no, it's vegan. It's made of beef.
That'll be a fun dinner.
It would be fun. You get your Your wife likes to drink those coffee martinis, chocolate martinis?
Something like that, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the surf and turf because I love the surf and turf. It's really, really, really good. Let's go to Black Friday, Stephen.
Yes.
What did you acquire on Black Friday?
Well, some of them were gifts, so I'm not going to talk about them on this podcast for certain people listening.
Do you think they listen? Do you think those people listen?
Well, the one I bought for my parents, we hinted at last week. It might suck and mop, so you kind of get the hint there. It might be a little robotic thing running around on the carpet.
Yeah.
I bought a ceiling fan because, I don't know, I just thought I needed one for my front room. I've been wanting to get one for a long time, and I happened to browse on Hunter's website, and I was like, oh, wait, I need a ceiling fan, and it's 25% off.
What is Hunter's website?
Hunter makes high-quality ceiling fans.
Oh, did you do research?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, of course you did.
Of course I
need to just pay Steven
I was on the website for like 3
hours
trying to find the best ceiling fan I could get. And for aesthetic reasons, I tried to find the right one, not just picking one random one. Because they had like probably 300 different ceiling fans to pick from. And I did, I was doing some Printique photo books too. I wanted to make sure I got that 25% off photo book deal. And I just looked, by the way, it was supposed to be done last night and it's actually extended. It says to tonight, which is the 30th of November right now as we're recording. But yeah, 25% off, not bad.
You're like, I don't call ours Black Friday. Did I call it Black Friday?
I'm pretty sure you called it Black Friday.
Oh, okay. But we're not extending anything. It just is what it is. And I just sent the email. I did the basic stuff. We gave a discount on the presets. I wonder how many people buy those presets, don't realize what didn't come from the sale thing. Did I say that that's running through December 4th? Or was that for something else?
You said through December 4th, yes.
All right. I guess I'll leave it for now. And then I'll get rid of it.
I mean, I would think most people came from you telling them that there's a sale because, we definitely had a lot more sales than normal this week.
We did, but then don't forget that on the daily, we do a good amount of sales.
We do, yeah.
Normally. So there's probably people that are showing up that didn't realize that they were on sale, didn't realize and are ready to buy at the $90 and getting it for $80. I ended up, I did a couple of things. Well, in the photo world, I ended up buying this. This is one of those SSDs from SanDisk.
That was actually a really good deal too. I was thinking about it myself.
SSD, 4 terabyte. This is the 2000 speed, 2000 write, 2000 read. I love these. I bought one for like $500, or maybe it was $540 a while ago after I was on the bowling trip, and I realized that I ran out of space on my computer while I was traveling because of the video I was shooting, and this thing came in handy. We're going to be doing a sponsored video. This wasn't, I actually paid for this myself. It was $349 at B&H with free shipping. It said $650 off, but it's not a $900 item. It was more like a $600 item.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But for $349, it was kind of a steal. It was kind of a freaking steal because I love it. And my plan for this one is to fit 4 terabytes of my best of the best photos with Honor Sir on it, and so that I may just make those DNGs, just go through my collection and go look at the best of the best images and just export all of them onto here possibly, and maybe make a catalog just for that. That's like emergency thing.
No, that's a good deal. But what size is your hard drive on that laptop that you filled up?
2 terabytes.
2 terabytes, and you filled it up a video.
I was shooting remember I was shooting 120 frames per second slow-mo for almost
4K
everything.
120, yeah.
On the R3 for the bowling stuff.
Takes up a ton of data.
Yeah, so I realized I ran out of space then, and then I had to clear it up, but that's why I got one of these. The other thing that I ended up getting is I did get the gift cards for Morimoto, for Steven Starr.
This is the 3rd week in a row we're talking about this.
But it happened at first. So I put in $2,000 to get it, and then it was like only a $500 gift card. I'm like, wait a second, they're only giving $250, and then I reloaded the page and I put in 1,000, and when you put in 1,000, you get 500.
So it's maxed out to 1,000 per transaction, right?
Well, 1,000 to get so you do 1,000, and then I bought another 1,000.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I bought them in 2 separate transactions. 1,000 get me 500, and then 1,000 got me 500. So I ended up with $1,000 in free food.
You can't beat that.
For the 2,000 that I spent. And my friend Shelly did it. My friend Katie did it. Then my buddy Troy bought $2,000 because he's like, oh wait, I can go drink with this. I'm like, yeah, you can use it at any Steven Starr restaurant, of which there are 22 or so.
It's just a gift card, right? A blanketed gift card that you can use towards anything in the store, in the restaurant.
Anything you want. They just put the numbers in and boom.
That's
great. You do it. It's their best promotion, and they run it once a year on Black Friday, and it's not even posted on their website. You have to get their email, and that's what I do every year because it's like free money.
The other thing I was thinking about getting was a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro, because I think you got a $150 gift card if you bought, or a $200 gift card if you bought a MacBook Pro, or $150 if you bought a MacBook Air on Apple's website. So I was really thinking about it. But then I was like, which one do I go with? And spec for spec, they're pretty much the same exact laptop. But you can get the same specs on a MacBook Air 13-inch, the M2 chip, for less. It's like $200 off versus the MacBook Pro, which, again, spec for spec, it's the same thing. It's like, why don't you just get the MacBook Air?
Well, the Air has a bigger display, right? 13.6 versus 13.3.
Yeah, and it's lighter.
Well, here's what's happening, Steven. Here's what's happening. I know this from Steve Jobs. He called me.
Oh, okay.
He was like,
your friend.
He was like, Jared...
Is he Jewish?
That's B&H. That's B&H. Sorry, wrong voice. That's B&H. Hey Jared, it's Steve Jobs here.
Well,
wait, that's Obama.
But he's calling from the grave, though, right?
Yes, he's calling from heaven.
So he still sounds normal in the grave.
Yeah, he still sounds normal.
Okay.
I think the 13-inch is. The MacBook Pro is done. I think the 13-inch MacBook Pro, they use the same chassis that they've been using because it has the touch display, and they've gotten rid of the touch display. So they're just using
recycled
inventory.
Body. Yep.
They're just doing it. They put the chip in there, and they're like, oh, we're not going to change anything else. Let's still sell it. So that's done. 14 and 16 is it.
And I was like, well, maybe the MacBook Pro has more connections, more USB-C ports or something like that. But no, it's exactly the same. So I was going to go with the MacBook Air, but in the end, I'm going to hold off. But it's so much of a better deal just getting the MacBook Air. They try and trick you because it's a MacBook Pro versus MacBook Air, but spec for spec, same thing, less money.
Well, maybe it has better battery life.
Actually, you're right. I think it was 20 hours on the MacBook Pro and 18 on the MacBook Air. But do I really care at the end of the day for 2 hours?
Well, there's no fans in the other one, right?
Okay.
There's no fans in the Air, I don't think.
Interesting.
And there's probably bigger battery in the other one, in the MacBook Pro. But no, I think that's the right decision.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it for my Black Friday spending.
Yeah, I didn't look for anything. I really didn't. That's just not how I am.
Unless I was already thinking about getting it, and it's at least 25% off, that's really the only thing that's going to make me jump the gun and buy it right then and there.
Yeah. and we don't do that. But yeah, so our sales will be ending by probably December 4th. So you may this will be out before then. Mm-hmm. So if you do want to get the presets at $10 off, you got to go to frontnosephoto.com/FroPack3. Put that into the triple play in checkout. It's already at $80 when you go to check out. It's not going to be reflected on the front of the page, but it will be reflected when you go to the cart.
Have we ever put presets up for sale before?
I think last year we may have done something very similar with the bundle, Fro Pack 2, maybe.
Okay.
We
don't do it very often, so if you were thinking about getting the bundle, definitely jump on it now because it will not be on sale until probably next Black Friday.
Well, no, this bundle won't be on sale. In fact, this bundle is going to end up going up in price when Fro Pack 4 comes out.
Yep.
When Fro Pack 4 comes out, we revamp all the pricing all the way down the line.
And we're thinking probably beginning of the year for Fro Pack 4, so.
Yeah, so I think instead of 90, it will go up to like 110. We have to go over the numbers. We do this every time we do it, but we'll definitely figure that one out. Oh, and being that it's December, the Super Huge or Mega Camera giveaway is going to be coming to a close on December 31st. So if you do want to enter it, it's free. You go to bit.ly/megafro22. Do not go to bit.ly/megafro2022 at work or anywhere where children are around or sound or audio is on.
Or 2023 or 2024.
Or 2024 or 2025 or 2026 because someone thought it would be funny to go and reserve those bit.ly links directly to porn
adult websites
for directly to porn. So if you want to find porn quick, go to bit.ly/megafro2022. If you want your chance to win up to $4,999 of my own money to spend on anything you want at Alan's camera, go to bit.ly/megafro22.
Man, whoever did that
will be coming to an end.
Kudos to you, sir. That's funny.
That is pretty good. So we were talking about shorts today. We're going to get to the R6 debate and the R5 stuff too. We'll get to that, the R5 Mark II. But we were talking about shorts, and from time to time I look at analytics and I look at other people's stuff, and I go to Gary V's, right? Because I still get his emails, and he put out a video with Shaquille O'Neal where he was talking to Shaq, and it was a cut of an interview and whatever. And I went onto YouTube, and in the day it has like 18,000 or 11,000 views, and Gary V has passed over 4 million subscribers.
Wow,
on YouTube.
Really? Wow,
4 million, still adding a shit ton, but there's a problem. He's averaging under 10,000 views a video at this point for a new video.
Even on his main videos, not shorts.
On his main videos.
Wow.
His short videos, which were doing well at the beginning of shorts, you're talking about 7,200 views. Maybe some that now have 22,000 views, but majority of them were under 10,000 views, which leads me to believe that YouTube might have turned down the spigot for shorts.
And again, I brought this up last week, they now have shorts in their own little tab on both the mobile app and on the desktop website. So I think they're kind of burying shorts a little bit. It's a lot harder to find. So if you went to Gary V's YouTube, for example, instead of just clicking videos in the home page, you would normally see shorts there too, but now you don't see them. You have to go to a dedicated tab. And I think that's kind of really burying them for most people to find.
And I'm super curious on whether or not they're just doing this to wait for February when they're going to be rolling out monetization of shorts.
Oh, is that when they're doing it?
Yeah, they're going to roll out monetization, but I don't know why they would turn the spigot off now and then try to turn it back on. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll try to turn it back on, but it would not make sense to turn it back on or to turn it off in the first place, because if the numbers are down, then advertisers aren't going to spend money.
And it's just going to discourage people from doing shorts.
We're already discouraged. Tell them about our last short that we did.
Our last one, the Artemis NASA rocket launch that we talked about last week. What did that get? 8,000, 9,000 views at most?
Not good, Steven.
Not good at all. I mean, the first short we did has nearly 1 million views at this point. The next one got like 30,000 maybe. I think the one after that got 40 or 50. But yeah, now it's down to less than 10,000 views, which for a channel that has 1.41 million subscribers, that's pretty bad.
It is. It's atrocious. It is frustrating.
It is.
That's why we won't do them.
Yeah.
And that's why we won't spend the time. I was just looking at Gary's numbers because I can look at analytics. 3 million views in the last 30 days for him, which is terrible when you have 4 million subscribers and you're putting. I think my issue is that everything became a short, right? Everything became Gary said this, so let's make it a short, and then people stopped giving a shit about the long form videos because they got inundated with all these bullshit shorts.
For example, like I follow this one lawn care channel. He's kind of like the godfather of lawn care channels, and he's been around for a while, has like 500,000 subs at this point. And he usually puts out a video every week, maybe 2 a week, something like that. But he's been really focusing on shorts lately. I almost forgot about his channel because he's only been posting shorts, which don't show up in the subscriber feed. So my normal subscription feed, I don't see any of his videos. So what happens is he's only posting now like 1 video a month, regular video. So he's getting much less views on his normal content because I think people are just forgetting about him or tuning out at that point. It really starts to hurt the main channel videos.
And that brings up the whole Instagram thing. I still see people being like, Instagram has killed photographers' reach. And the truth is they turned it back on. And anybody that's been doing it, they've turned it back on. Look at my Artemis photos. Look at my, let me look at my Artemis photos real fast, Steven. Artemis photos. 8,417 likes. That's a lot of freaking likes for me.
That is a lot, yeah.
4,677. That's another lot of likes. 4,461. 4,100. That's a lot.
And before they turned it back on, weren't you getting like barely 1,000?
800.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for you not to break 1,000, yeah.
Dude, it was frustrating.
That is.
And then this one got 5,500, Steven.
Oh, yes. Wolverine.
Hi, my name's Jared. Look at this sexy leather coat and this maroon shirt. And look at this awesome buzz cut. Oh, and yes, those are diamonds cut into the side of my face. And these glasses are amazing. Hi, how are you?
You got some sweet chops going on. For those wondering, that's a photo of Jared from like what, 2000?
No, it's probably 2004, 2005 time.
Before the afro.
It's on my Instagram. You can go look. I've posted it before. It's a shitty leather coat. He looks like he's in a Halloween costume. Dude, I think I look fucking sexy there. I really think I look hot there. Those glasses look great.
You probably still wear those glasses.
No, those are Oakleys. I refuse to wear Oakleys. I wear the Maui Jims, but they are very similarly shaped.
The same 1990s style sunglasses.
That's right, Steven, because I was in the 90s, and I like the 90s.
By the way, with Instagram, though, talking about Reels and everything, the only difference with Instagram, at least with Reels, it still gets posted on your feed. So your followers still see that. They don't have to go into a dedicated tab or to a dedicated feed of Shorts or Reels to see the Reel. So that's the difference. We're still getting at least, 50,000 per Reel for the most part.
I haven't looked.
Give or take. The other thing I like about Instagram now is you can add a song now to your photos, which I think is really interesting. Like I just posted a picture of Chip, my dog, and I posted a song with that, and I think it really kind of captures the mood of that photograph. So when you're scrolling through your feed, you hear the song as you're viewing the picture, and I think that's kind of cool. I'm not sure why it took them so long to get to that point, though.
Yeah. Reels are also hit or miss, too. Some are like 12,000 and some are like 70,000. It's just weird.
But not nearly as hit or miss as Shorts.
No. So people... I haven't heard Vero in a long while. There's only a couple of people on the internet who talk about Vero. Those people that so happen to have a nice reach, and that's very good. That's why they have a couple 100,000 on that app. I won't use it. I'm not going to build another following over there. I don't think it's going to work. I know that people are like, Vero's great. It's like the old Instagram. You could do chronologically ordered. I'm like, well, you can do that on Instagram now. You can create a chronological order. Again, you can go select it. You just have to go and do it. I'm not going into that world. I don't give a shit. I don't want to interact. I don't want to just post these photos. I don't like the app. I'm not going to go to Vero. I'm not doing it.
I think of Vero more as like a true overall social media app, not so much a dedicated like media app, like, just photos and video like Instagram is. Where Vero, you can do like, you can post music, you can post games, movies and TV shows and stuff like that. You can comment on them. Where, again, Instagram's more just videos and photo-centric. I do like that Vero is less compressed in terms of photos. You can view a full-res photo by tapping on it. You can do full-screen landscape shots by turning your phone instead of just viewing it into a normal, like, 1-to-1 ratio. You can
but those apps can't survive.
You can still filter your feed. Like if you don't want to see all the other bullshit, like music, games, whatever, you can just do photos only or video. So Vero's got good things going on, but I just don't know if it's got the clout that Instagram has at this point. Like my mom doesn't know about Vero, is what I'm saying. Like, but she will follow me on Instagram, which is weird to say.
Does she follow your OnlyFans?
Not yet. But now you just outed me, so now she's going to.
Steven, get it? OnlyFans? Because you bought a fan and you studied it, so you know everything about fans, so you have an OnlyFans account that talks about fans that you should buy. Winning!
This Hunter fan has 5 blades opposed to 4. It's a 60-inch model instead of 52.
Winning!
That's funny.
I hit the bell. I don't know if you heard the bell.
I did.
Okay, good. Because that's a great bell. I don't know why I bought it. I mean, I know why I bought it because I wanted it for the kids.
$70 bell.
$69.99.
Close
Steven.
enough.
And tax.
Exactly. So over 70.
And tax. All right. You want to move into this issue? You were telling me about R6 versus R6 II. You had a debate with someone?
Not so much a debate, but just a friend reaching out, trying to upgrade from her EOS R, and she wanted to go with the R6. She was unaware that the R6 Mark II came out. She's not super tech savvy, so she's not into the whole like gear-centric community, like what's new and the latest and greatest. So I mentioned that the R6 Mark II came out and basically said, get that opposed to the R6, and she was concerned about pricing and just, why not just get the R6 because it's going to be cheaper at this point? And I'm like, yeah, but it's $200 cheaper. Right now for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday, whatever in general, it's $200 off. And I don't know if Canon's going to drop it anymore. If it was $1,600 and a nearly $1,000 difference, I would say go to R6 all day. But for $200, just get the R6 Mark II.
That's always it. And don't you love when people ask you for your thoughts and prayers and opinions and then they don't listen to you?
Well, no, she did listen. She was just unaware that the R6 Mark II even existed. And her concern overall about upgrading from the EOS R was she has a lot of third-party glass, a lot of Sigma Art lenses, and a lot of just Canon EF original lenses. And she was concerned, like, will they slow the camera down since they aren't RF? Will her lenses cancel out the benefits of the R6 or the R6 Mark II? And I was basically just saying the only downside to third-party glass is that you can't really keep up with the frame rate. So it might be like 15 frames a second with a Sigma Art lens focus motor versus an RF lens that can focus at that 40 frames per second electronic shutter mode. But for what she does, she's shooting portraits, beach sessions, weddings, stuff like that. So she's not going to be doing any crazy fast movement. The only stuff she'll be doing on occasion is like a bride twirling or something, and she wants to shoot at like 10 frames a second. Like, you don't need 40 frames. Your Sigma Art's going to be fine. The EF lenses will be fine.
But does she want those twirly photos to be blurry? Because it's a big fad right now, out of focus photos.
No, she does rely on IAF for the most part. And she said the only time it kind of messes up is when they're doing the twirly photos. And I was saying, well, the R6 Mark II now has, the head detection, all that from the R3. So as they're twirling, it shouldn't be racking focus. It should then move from eye to head and then back to eye as they're doing a 360. So it will be much better for what she does.
It makes sense. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. It's a no-brainer. Like, you kind of, the moral of the story is if someone is debating between going to an R6 or an R6 II and their big concern is $200, my big concern is maybe you're not making enough money as a photographer if your concern is spending an extra $200.
I agree. Yeah.
But the other way I look at it, Steven, is if you have the opportunity to get the latest and greatest, you get the latest and greatest if you can afford it. My other
Especially
friend,
if that's your career.
Well, if it's your career, it's a write-off.
Yeah, it's free, basically.
Yeah, it's a write-off. Well, who writes it off?
The government pays for it.
Right. It's a write-off. I have another friend who bought an R6 probably a year ago, and then she was debating, she wants an R3, of course, because who doesn't? But I was like, look, with an R6 Mark II, she can trade in her R6 at Allen's camera for $1,500.
Oh,
right.
That's not bad.
If it's in great
$1,500.
condition, because
they'll probably sell for what, 18, 2,000, something like that.
For under 2,000, right? 1850, or did they need a little leeway?
They need some profit, yeah.
But on the flip side, she would be trading that in towards $2,500, $2,600?
Yeah, 25, yeah.
Yeah, a $2,500 camera. So she will only pay tax on the $1,000 on the trade-in. But it was more than that. What I said to her was like, here's my reasoning for saying to get an R6 II and to dump your R6. It's not that you can shoot at 40 frames a second. It's not that it's newer. I mean, it is newer. So it is that it's newer. You got a newer sensor. It's not extravagantly better than the original, but it's going to hold its value longer. You start fresh with a new body. So when you dump the old body, instead of driving that in the ground for the next 2 years and getting what, $500 out of it?
You're kind of like my 5D Mark IV. It's worth like $2 now.
You're going to get the latest and greatest tech, and it only cost you $1,000 to upgrade. And you're making money with your camera because she was making money with it already. So my mentality has always been, especially with the more expensive stuff, like if you own an R3 and an R3 Mark II comes out, you dump the R3 instantly for as much as you can get out of it, and you roll that $4,500-ish, $4,500 into a $6,000 camera, and it costs you $1,500 for 3 years of rental, basically, to use a pro camera. And then it just doesn't lose. Because the biggest issue, and I know I'm just talking, the biggest issue is if you buy two of the same bodies and you run them into the ground, you've spent $12,000 for those two bodies. If you hold them for 4, 5, 6 years, they're worthless by the time you get rid of them.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're dropping another $10,000 because maybe you get $1,000 each out of those things after 6 years of usage or 5 years. But as a pro, I like to have usually not redundance of the same body unless Canon sends them to you and you can have two R3s like I do.
And when I was talking to my friend about the R6 versus R6 Mark II, she was wondering, like, what's the benefits of the R6 Mark II? And like you said, I mean, yeah, it's new sensor, new high frame rate, but it's more of the littler things too. Like it incorporates the AF system from the R3 now, like I was saying, that head detection, torso, all of that, more of that artificial intelligence that we've been talking about. It's more of an ultimate hybrid camera too. The video specs have definitely tripled in terms of the original R6. You also have that digital hot shoe for wireless microphones and stuff like that. There's no more just full manual or full auto in the video mode. You can now finally take advantage of AV, TV, flexible value, the FV mode. You get full with 4K up to 60p oversampling, unlimited record time.
What's that sound? Huh? What's that sound, Steven? Is that the money truck backing up to your house? What is this? Did you make a deal with Canon separately to plug? I mean, were they like, hey, Steven, so we're going to send the money truck over, and if you can speak for 2 minutes straight without Jared interrupting you about the R6 and the R6 Mark II,
which is very hard to do,
we will send you the money truck special just to you, because that's what it sounds like, but it's really not true.
What I'm saying is like the little things, like the new auto subject detection mode, where sometimes she'll shoot like a portrait session with a family dog, and then sometimes she'll go right to the bride and groom or something like that. Like switching automatically between dog AF and people AF, that's a time saver. Just little things like that. The raw burst mode with the pre-shooting, like that she can now pluck out one of those twirling photos at 40 frames a second. That's a big deal too. So I don't know. There's a lot of little things on paper. Again, the R6 Mark II doesn't look that much better than the R6, but at the end of the day, it is.
Can I rewind real fast? Because I meant to ask you about when you had the photo books made. You made a photo book from Printique?
I did.
And your wife made one?
We did.
How was her layout?
It was good. I mean, Printique offers a lot of templates. Like they offered a modern wedding template, which was really interesting because you basically just throw the photos at it and it auto compiles the photo book for you into this template, and then you can adjust them from there. But, there were certain times where she would just throw a lot of stuff on one page and it would look kind of like a messy collage of some sort. And I'm a big fan,
art, Steven.
I'm a big fan of like the borders need to be consistent and even throughout. I think a collage can look right if you do it right, like even bordering and stuff like that, where she kind of had like a mishmash of all kinds of stuff. It'd be a thick border, a 1-inch border, half an inch, a quarter inch, and it'd be all over the place. So
was she like,
I had to make a lot of adjustments before we printed her book. Let's just say that.
All right. I'm working on a book for the Phillies stuff that I did.
Nice. You can't sell that though, right?
I'm not going to sell. No, I'm not going to do that.
You should do no. Artemis.
Well, I have one picture, Steven. That's going to be a very short book.
Well, you also have the building of the Artemis rocket, correct? Don't you have the behind the scenes of that?
I already have that book printed. Yeah.
Could you sell that book since it's a public agency and you were there on your own? And
I could, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to spend the money to sell a book, print a book and sell a book like that.
I will say, do it. Printique, very affordable. The book, I got the 25% off discount for Black Friday, like I was saying earlier, and I think it came out to be for a 10x8 wedding album, essentially, 140 pictures, and I think it came out to be $137, and then with the 25% off discount, it was like $110 all in, $115.
Wait, what's that sound? Is that the Printique money truck backing up to Steven's house?
Oh, I'm just a shill these days.
Jesus. Also, during the pandemic, they switched paper because paper was harder to get, and certain paper was actually thicker. So my Italy book, which is 100 pages, is a lot thicker than my other 100-page books, which means it didn't fit on my shelf very well properly. And so I said something to them, and I think it had something to do with shortage of certain paper. So I hope that Fuji is making this paper again, because Fuji would make a thinner photographic paper that allowed them to process front and back and do the accordion thing. I hope that continues to, I hope they switch back if it's possible.
Well, and I was debating, they offer like 5 different types of paper on there. I was debating whether I should get the luster finish, which you usually do, and I do like
Always
that.
luster.
Or do I get the luster linen, where it's like a linen texture on the luster paper? And
That's
again,
terrible.
it was more of a wedding album that we were doing, so I felt like that made more sense. But to be safe, I went with just luster because I'm used to seeing your books, and I know for a fact that they came out great.
They do. Shifting gears back to the R6 Mark II and the R6, she had another thing she was asking about financing.
Yeah, so she was asking if I recommended Alan's camera, because at the time you had told me that the R6 Mark IIs were coming in like the next day, and I thought she
had a couple of extra ones.
Exactly, and I thought she wanted it immediately, so I was like, you might want to go, today or tomorrow to grab one in person, or at least give them a call and let them know, because there's only a couple left over, and it's going to be hard once that initial shipment runs out across the board, whether you're going to B&H, Adorama, wherever. It's going to be hard to find them, probably like the R3, So she was like, well, I'm thinking about Adorama because they offer the 12-month 0% financing. And I kind of recommended B&H because they do the Paybu cards. And wait a second. Is that the B&H truck?
What the hell is that sound? Hello, Steven. It's me. It's Moishi from B&H. Would you like some shekels?
But I was saying, Adorama has their Edge card. So you get either 0% financing for 12 months, or you get 5% back on your total order purchase. Now, B&H does also the 12-month 0% financing, depending on the size of the order, how much it costs. And they also do the save the tax. Now, tax in New Jersey here is 6.625%. So you're essentially saving 6.625% over 5% at Adorama. So you're saving more if you go with B&H. It's not a ton of money, but it ends up being about $165 off at B&H versus $125 that you would save at Adorama. So in Pennsylvania, it's a 6% sales tax, so you would save a little more, but again, not much.
Philadelphia's 8%. So
I checked, by the way. It said 6% for 19125.
I'm in Philadelphia, bro. It's not 6% anymore.
That's what B&H says. Type in your zip code there.
Wrong.
It's going to say 6.6%. Yeah.
Well, there's extra fees going to the city.
Well, that's all you would save with Paybu, I guess, is 6%. But at the end of the day, she didn't realize that they even offered these credit card services, really, or at least the save the tax thing. So I think she's going to go with B&H. Can't really beat it. 2-day free shipping, save the tax. You end up saving more. Not bad.
Yeah. As I always recommend, if you can go to Alan's Camera and work with the mom and pop, go work with the mom and pop. They're great to work with, and they're going to take care of you. B&H actually does have in stock the 6D Mark II right now, because
R6 Mark II.
Yeah, R6 Mark II. There I go again. The R6 Mark II, because it wasn't going to be one of those new generation cameras that everybody was going to buy. So
incremental update, yep.
And Alan's Camera may get a couple extra in, so if you want one, you can give them a call and let them know that I sent you. But I think the Paybu card offers you more than the Edge card. Same reasons,
unless you live in a state like Delaware where there's no sales tax and you're not really getting a cut from that. So I mean,
who wants to live in Delaware?
I guess if you live in Delaware, go with Adorama. You get the 5% off regardless.
Do you want to live in Delaware, Stephen?
I live above Delaware in good old New Jersey.
I once went to Delaware to buy Apple computers because of the tax thing, which theoretically you're supposed to pay tax when you come back or something.
I was going to say, it's kind of illegal to do that, isn't it? Technically?
I mean, I was just driving through Delaware and I was like, oh, look, an Apple store. Why don't I buy this laptop?
So I'm going to cut all this part out now.
Dude, it's the 2010 13-inch MacBook Pro that's downstairs on the fix set, by the way.
That we still use, yep.
The battery is dead on that. Dead.
Is it really?
It says replace battery. It says battery exhausted. It literally says it at the top. So the only way to use it is it has to be plugged in. And as soon as you pull the plug, it dies right away.
Oh, it doesn't even
keep it charged. That computer is 12 years old, man.
Wow.
12 years old, still working.
Yeah, I would say my HP desktop, that is, actually older than that. I think it was 2009 when I bought it.
You don't even use that though.
No, but if I fire that up today, it would still work. I did upgrade the video card though, and something else in there. I think the hard drive I swapped out to an SSD versus the spinning hard drive. Also though, real quick on the Adorama thing, can you use the Edge card on Printique? Because it's an Adorama company technically, but I don't know if you could use it on there.
Answer. Don't know that answer, Steven.
Because if you can get 5% off a photo album, that's not bad.
Moving gears, you want to shift gears?
Yeah, let's do it.
R5.2. So we got R5.2 rumors. Do you have the site up? Do you want to read them?
I do, yes.
Go ahead. Give us these. Now, remember, these are rumored specs. Just because it shows up on a rumor website and doesn't end up being true in the long run doesn't mean you should get angry at Canon for not doing what some asshole made up somewhere else. That's my rant right there.
To me, it looks like someone went to B&H or Adorama and copied the A7R5 specs and basically submitted them to CanonRumors.com, because spec for spec, minus the frame rate and the card slots, it's almost identical to the A7R5 specs. And Canon clearly did not know about the A7R5, a year ago when if the R5 Mark II is even a thing, when that was probably in development. So it's not like they could have shifted gears and been like, oh, we need to copy that spec for spec. Anyway, with specs, we're looking at a 61 megapixel CMOS BSI sensor, just like the A7R5. Dual Digic X processors, which if that's true is very interesting because no Canon camera right now has dual Digic X, not even the R3. Nope. 30 frames per second electronic shutter, which blows my mind with a 61 megapixel sensor. Same thing as before, 12 frames per second mechanical. Same 8-stop IBIS, new high resolution mode, which is essentially like pixel shift in the A7R5. 2x, 4x, and 8x digital teleconverters, so you can crop in camera. Same dual pixel CMOS AF2 from the R3 and the R6 Mark II with that, again, the artificial intelligence tracking and all of that. 8K 60p video recording, which I find interesting because if that's the case with a 61 megapixel sensor, you definitely can't do full frame unless they're doing DCI 8K, which could be a thing because the R5 original one was DCI 8K full frame and technically a little bit of a crop if you were doing UHD, which is how we shoot. So that's not terrible if that's a thing. Internal 4K, 30p, 60p, 120p, which they say is all oversampled. I don't know how they're going to pull that off if that's going to happen. 1080p up to 240p. I mean, the R6 Mark II has 1080 180p, so I wouldn't be surprised if this does 240p. Again, all of this is due to, if it's a thing, dual Digic X processors. And then there's a couple other things like focus breathing correction for video, which we see with the R6 Mark II, the new overheat prevention from the R6 Mark II as well, which we don't even find to be an issue anymore with the R5. With the latest firmware update, we can pretty much record 8K or 4K for a very long time without overheating. And then one of the big things for me is dual CF Express Type B card slots, no more SD card, standard full-size HDMI, another big thing because I freaking hate that micro HDMI. You do as well. And dual USB-C ports, that's kind of odd. I guess one for charging and one for streaming or monitoring or something like that. Data transfer, who knows? And then
that's odd, dude.
The 9.44 million .EVF, again, same as the A7R5. And Canon does not have that type of EVF. I think the biggest one they have is the 5.6 in the R3 and R5. And then this new design of vari-angle LCD monitor optimized for video shooting, they're saying. I don't know what that means.
What does that even mean?
Isn't it already optimized when it's vari-angle?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then they're saying it's coming out Q2 of 2023. So we'll see. These kind of seem a little far-fetched to me. I mean, if this is the R5 II, that's pretty incredible. But again, it looks like someone just copy and pasted the A7R5 specs and made a couple logical tweaks of what the R6 Mark II got and gave them to the R5.
Yeah, I mean, the R6 and R6 II went from 21 or 20.1 megapixels to 24. Mm-hmm. I don't know that you're going from 45 to 61 in a same generation body unless they're like, you know what, we've got a 61 megapixel sensor. But a lot of these specs just seem like the R6 A7 R5. They really do.
I would love to see a BSI sensor because the current R5 is not a BSI sensor. The R3 is, but not the R5. Also, again, when it comes to video, if they can do 61 megapixels and still somehow make it full frame or at least a very slight crop like the A7R5, like that 8K crop that we shot the entire preview in really it was like a 1.1x or 1.2 or something. And again, the current R5 is kind of the same crop unless you're doing DCI 8K or 4K. But if they can keep that and not do a heavy like 1.5x crop or Super 35, I'd be all about the 61 megapixels.
Yeah, I mean, I love megapixels, but I still want the high ISO capability, which I think the R5 still has.
Oh, yeah.
The shooting speed's insane. Imagine that thing doing 30 frames a second with the electronic shutter, but how's the rolling shutter going to be at 30 frames a second?
At 61 megapixels, the A7R5 can't even do 10 in uncompressed RAW. That's like 6.
Well, I mean, but look at the fact that you can do 40 frames a second with the R6 Mark II.
Yeah,
40 frames a second without a stacked sensor is kind of mind-boggling.
And that's also half the resolution though of this sensor, so more than half the data.
Well, more than half.
Yeah,
it's a third. It's
but
24.
You're also looking at if they do dual DigicX, you're getting double the processing power. So maybe they can pull it off. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like 2.5 times more resolution, because if you take 24 times 2 is 48, 60 to 70.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice bump up in resolution, but personally, I think 45 is like a nice sweet spot. It's not too crazy high. It's not too low. It's just enough where you still need some cropping room. You're good. Your favorite thing to do, crop.
Yeah, speaking of cropping, 2, 4, and 8 time digital converters, that's literally just a 2, a 4, and an X crop. Why would you even do that?
Well, and I question, is it like the A7R5 where you can do a small, medium, large, oversampled RAW file, or are you just getting a JPEG only with the digital teleconverter? Because I think with the R6 Mark II, which also has a digital teleconverter, isn't that JPEG only?
Yeah, I believe that's the case.
So I assume it's going to be the same. Canon usually does not change things and from body to body in terms of what it can do. Like a digital teleconverter is not going to suddenly shoot RAW in an R5 Mark II when it's JPEG only everywhere else.
I think some of the specs make sense and then the others don't. I don't think 61 makes sense. I don't think the 9.44 million dot EVF makes sense. That's where you start to question whether this is real or not, is the fact that they're dropping these specs that are A7R5s. Right, Sony specs. I do think that Canon has a major leg up still on what's happening excuse me between Nikon and between Sony. I think Canon is innovating at a quicker clip and Sony isn't. I just still think they're languishing behind with that 10 frames a second max.
And, I do think an R5 Mark II is on the horizon just because the R6 Mark II just came out. They both were announced the same exact day in 2020 in July. So I assume an R5 Mark II is coming soon just because the R6 Mark II just dropped. So logically speaking, yeah, it's coming. At least that's what I think. I don't know if these are going to be the exact specs. I think this is someone's wish list that they took from the A7R5, and we shall see.
But it's pretty cool that 2.5-ish, 3 years out, that there's a refresh that works. Like, if there is. Because I think the R6 Mark II is a great refresh. Yeah,
and it's barely 2 years after the initial announcement. So, I mean, if it's a minor refresh like the R6 Mark II, that's fine with me. Again, it's not like we waited 5 years for it, and then it was very, like, to me, from going from the 5D Mark III to the 5D Mark IV, I waited, it was like 4.5 years or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. But it was a very... I feel like right off the bat, it was already outdated when they announced it. That's how lackluster the features were in the new 5D Mark IV. When it has a compact
flash card, of course it's outdated. If it still had a compact flash card.
Yeah, so we waited that long, and it was very like, meh. That was, now, if that came out a year and a half, 2 years after the 5D Mark III, I wouldn't have been as disappointed because, again, it was so sudden to the initial launch of the 5D Mark III.
Yeah. Yep. Don't know what's going to happen. Don't know if there's an R1 coming. Don't know any of that stuff. Is there going to be an R3?
We honestly don't know anything.
We don't. Except for that secret trip, Steven. Secret Japan trip.
You wish.
That's right. I'm going to use my Morimoto gift cards in Japan. Hey, do my gift cards work here?
Did you put up any decorations or anything over the weekend? Actually, who am I asking? You never put up any decorations.
That's a serious question?
I don't know. Sometimes you have some Hanukkah decorations and everything, right?
Never do I post Hanukkah decorations in the house. Manny the menorah is still hanging here with Dickie the dreidel. He faded a little bit, so I may need to go on Amazon to get another Dickie the dreidel and Manny the menorah. I got it, Manny the menorah. I'm fading fast in the sun because Jared doesn't take me down. He's a cheap Jew who doesn't take me down. Oh, hashtag, don't say hashtag cheap Jew. Manny, how dare you? What do you mean? With yay. Who's yay? You want to go the way of yay? Ye? No, I don't want to go the way of ye. Anyway, I'm hanging here for Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah starts on the 19th of December, and I didn't get you any gifts.
I spent all of Black Friday putting crap up, and it just took forever because I don't have a basement, so I had to get everything from the attic, which is terrible because I have a little attic pull down access. That's just sucks to take like a tree down in little sections and all the decorations. I've got like 20 totes of crap that I had to bring down. It was brutal. And then I had to bring, meanwhile, all the Halloween stuff up and the autumn stuff and some of the spring stuff that I had left over. Throw all that in the attic. My favorite part is when I went to put up the tree, I went to plug it in and nothing lit up.
Why?
And I have an artificial tree that's pre-lit because I have a little cap on each section. It like kind of closes off the electronic, the connection to basically, light up the whole tree. So I go to put that piece in to slide it into the bottom section. And I guess by accident, that cap that kind of hangs on got lodged right in between and didn't allow the connection to go through. So I put the whole tree up, went to turn it on, and it didn't light up. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This is, by the way, only a year-old tree. I just bought it last year, so I was really pissed at this time, thinking that it's already dead. After troubleshooting it for like an hour, I realized that that cap was just lodged right in the middle of the connection. And all I had to do was lift the whole tree up, pop it out, and pop it back down, and it all lit up. But as I'm lifting it up, the whole tree starts to like tip over, and I'm like, Nicole, help me out. Because I forgot how heavy it is. It's a 9-foot tree. It's giant.
Yeah, I don't do trees.
It wasn't fun, man. I hate
don't do ornaments.
The process of putting up the decorations, but I do love when they're up how cozy everything feels inside because we have a lot of lights and stuff hanging up.
You like that?
Get some hot chocolate, watch a good little movie, a little romp. By the way, did you watch The Holiday yet?
No, I forgot. I didn't even think about it. Yeah. What's it on?
I don't know. It's on one of the streaming services.
I still don't understand why Netflix doesn't allow you to have friends and then you can have I thought you can do a watch recommendations. Party. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like you should be able to say, here, let me send this to your playlist because this is something I recommend that you should watch. There's no reason they shouldn't do that. I think that would help.
That's true. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. I'm getting a text right now from Printique going, does Steven need any credit?
Oh, that money truck is actually backing up.
Have him text or email me his email link to his account and how much would you like? How much would I like? Not you. How much credit would I like?
I just bought the books, man.
Yeah, but this isn't Money Truck. This is Printique. I told him that I told her that you already did it. It's just kind of funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, the books are going to look good. And my book wall is awesome.
I'm actually excited because obviously seeing you doing how many books throughout the years, I've always wanted to do one, and I've never done a proper photo book to this day from any website. So I'm curious how it's going to turn out.
Do you know what you've also never done?
Build a website.
Build a website. This portion of this video is brought to you by the Squarespace Money Truck.
Oh, jeez.
Do you know what pisses me off in videos that I watch from people on YouTube when they're like, a portion of this video is sponsored by? I'm like, a portion? Oh, we're now splitting videos up into different segments and portions, that this segment is brought to you by Squarespace and this segment is brought to you by B&H and this segment's brought to you by Allen's and this segment's brought to you by Printique. Like, that's bullshit.
Well, what about when we do multiple plugs in like a 30-minute video and they're all different sponsors?
They're all for us. We never do multiple plugs for different sponsors.
That's
in
true.
Same video.
Well, Squarespace though. I mean that.
Squarespace is a different animal altogether.
Yeah. I guess all the rest of them are really pretty much Fro Knows Photo.
We're doing our own plugs. We're not gonna, like, if we do a user guide that's an hour and a half long, we will promote our own products.
Yeah.
And then maybe one other thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what we do.
That's how we roll.
What else you got going on this week, Steven?
This week, I don't think really anything. I'm coming in this rest of the week pretty much with you to film, but we can't really talk about some of that stuff.
Yeah, I got a printer video. I got to do printer paper video.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on the printer paper video because I've been doing sample prints, and I'm really upset right now because they sent me this paper. So I use a Red River. They're a Red River inkjet paper. There's a bunch of companies out there. Now, this is going to be a portion of the video that we're creating is going to be sponsored by Canon printer division. The whole video is. And I reached out to Red River to get paper because I use their paper. So they sent me like a pack of 6 different types of paper. And the good thing about Canon printers, and Canon knows this, is that you don't need to use Canon paper. You don't have to buy their paper. All they really care about is selling printers and ink because that's where the money is. But I use the Red River stuff. Well, there's this like paper called Palo Duo Rag Semi-Gloss.
Great name.
Yeah, terrible name. And I printed on it. It's a little thicker, so it's a cotton-based paper, which means it's more archival and it's going to last longer. And it's very similar to what you would have found in the darkroom when you were printing. I don't know if it was like a very similar to an RC or a resin-coated type paper, but it's a little thicker because it's cotton and it's neutral white. So it's not Arctic Polar Luster, which is what I've been using, which has more of
like
a
pure
colder,
white.
Well, a more colder Arctic white, so it's bluer, or the warm whites, which are a little more warm yellow. This is neutral, so it's like a neutral, nice white.
Isn't that what you want, though? Like a proper pure white?
It's close. I'm going to have you look at both of these papers because, one, I like the thickness of the paper and kind of the archival, and the semi-gloss on it is really a luster, but it's a little more sheen and reflective than the Arctic Polar Luster. And I've been using the Arctic Polar Luster for a while because I love it. But when you put these both next to each other, I'm going to be curious what you see because the blacks are nice and thick, nice contrast on both. It's going to be interesting to look at.
Man, that reminds me of when I was painting our downstairs and I was looking for paint colors and we wanted gray and we go to the store and we're like, all right, let's look for gray, and didn't realize how many different types of gray there were. There was the cooler
Yellow
gray, the warm
white
gray,
magenta gray,
there had
greenish
to be
gray.
20 different types. And I just thought gray was gray. But no, there's a lot of different types of gray.
What gray did you go with?
More of the cooler gray. But I
What's
do
it
wish...
called?
I forget. It was Sherwin-Williams paint. But I do wish that I went with like a little darker shade of gray. It was too light.
Do you hear that? It's a Sherwin-Williams money truck backing up to your house.
Oh, I wish.
It's Sherwin-Williams here. Would you like to paint your house this Pantone color of gray? I'll paint my house 18% gray, Steven. How about I paint my house 18%
Perfect
gray?
white balance all the time.
Yeah, 18% gray, guys. Hey, what's this color? 18% gray.
Need
what's
a gray
this
card?
color?
Take a picture of the wall.
Dude, you know what I should do? I should get one of those color checkers from what are they called? The guys that sponsor with us?
From Data Color.
From Data Color. Yeah, from Data Color. Send us a color checker, but I enlarge it on my wall so that I have the whole color checker and have the exact colors. That would be so expensive to make on your wall.
Well, and that would be tough to get the exact colors because, like I said, there's so many different shades of every single color. Like, what's pure red? To you, it might look like a little bit warmer, but to me, it might look a little cooler. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know either, but that does remind me of a song. I'm going to pull it up.
We should have had gloss black when he did the giant mural downstairs. He should have did a giant color checker too on the other wall.
Dude, his stuff is so awesome.
It really is.
Can you hear it? It's Shades of Grey by Billy Joel.
I was like, who is this? It sounds familiar, but I can't pinpoint it.
Off the River of Dreams soundtrack. The River of Dreams, the last album that he ever did in the 90s or something. That's an old album. Yeah, so we're going to be working on that type of video for the next couple days. We've got Nikon 1 year later for the Z9 video.
That's a monster video, yeah.
Dan is wrapping up the vlog from the baseball. Then we got the Artemis vlog. We've got some comparison videos. I've got an R6 Mark II here in my hands. So it's not technically in my hands right now, but it's on the floor next to me, to be literal.
For once in December, there's a lot of stuff to film. Usually the end of the year, there's zero content. There's no news, there's no new gear, but everything's pushed back this year.
Thanks, Rumors. Thank you, Rumors, for keeping us with fresh titles to have.
Yep.
Because without Rumors, we don't have good titles. Without good titles, it's hard to get people to watch videos.
Major Canon camera leaked? ?
Ooh, new Canon leaked?
I can't believe what Canon did.
Breaking news. Tony Northrup here. All right, Steven, we're gonna call it a day.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is episode, what? Are we up to 27?
I think 27, yeah.
Yeah, RAWtalk episode 27 here. Whatever hashtags you get, let us know. I didn't give you the phone number, but it's 484... Go fuck yourself.
No, it's 313.
It's 313-710-9729. I had to get my paper, Steven. My paper
I don't know how you haven't memorized that yet.
313-710-9729. I don't know because I don't say it that often anymore. But you can text me. You can text us. I do reply. I've been seeing that Steven's been replying to stuff.
Not that often, but if it is a question directed towards me, I try to answer.
Did you see the Giving Tuesday thing I did? Oh, no, not that. Not the Bernie thing. Not one book sold, by the way. So I will not be promoting Bernie book ever again because no one wants it at this point. Only the people that kickstarted it. That's perfectly fine. So be it. But did you read the message from the person who said like his daughter?
The Artemis thing, right?
The Artemis thing.
Did read
do you
that,
remember what that one said?
I don't off the top of my head now.
Let me try to find
something about his daughter was really interested in the rocket stuff and that she listens to the podcast. And
I found it, Steven. It was from a guy named Tanner Cernick. Hashtag RAWtalk 26. Just a quick note. I do photography currently as a side income. I'm a police officer, but hopefully going to stop doing that. Kind of like Manny Ortiz. However, my daughter loves taking photos and uses a Pentax film camera I have when I'm not with her to use the A7 IV or the A7 III. We listen to your show every week. Oops. Parentheses, she's almost a teenager after a conversation about language. So they talk about language first. Anyways, she listened to the latest last two and asked me if you ever got to take photos with the Artemis for NASA because she was learning about it in school. She loves listening and looking at your photos and thinks it's amazing. I appreciate what you do and spreading the word of photography. Thank you. So what did I do, Steven?
I don't know. I don't think I saw your response.
Oh, I said, I said, email me your address and I will send your daughter a print.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
It's not signed or numbered. It's not signed or numbered. Not signed or numbered.
So it's worthless.
Because I sold,
just throw it out.
I sold all 50, by the way. I sold all 50 Artemis launch pictures.
Telling you, man.
I sold all of them.
I think a photo book, that'd be kind of cool.
No, I'm not doing it, Steven. I'd rather just I want to sell a couple prints. I want to sell 50 prints. I thought that was awesome selling 50. I don't know what to offer next to do a follow-up to the Artemis, but
yeah.
I sold out of 50, so that was awesome. I packaged them myself. I printed them all here on the Canon Pro 1000, no money truck, and on all that. Anyway, whatever. You guys know I did all that. So,
very cool.
Anyway, I did that. I do that from time to someone sent something. I was like, yeah, what's your address? I'll send it to you. And then there was another guy who sent it and he wanted to show it in his school. He probably just wants it for his own wall. But I sent it to him anyway so that he could show it to the kids because they were talking about it in school.
That's cool.
That's it. Don't ask me for free shit. Hashtag don't ask me for free shit. Hashtag
I just gave away a bunch of free shit, but don't ask me anymore.
No, I just randomly do it and then I'll mention it every once in a while. I don't need kudos. I like kudos, but I don't need kudos. But I do like kudos.
I mean, it's always nice to give back, so.
So hopefully next week I'll fill you in on how it was taking care of the kids.
Can't wait.
And yeah, their birthday's coming up on the 10th. Well, their birthday's before that, but the birthday party's on the 10th. And then I'm going to go to Asbury Park. If you're in that area and you want to go to see Pete Souza, just go to Danny Clinch's website, the Transparent Gallery, and see if there's tickets available. It's a very small, intimate space, so I couldn't expect I doubt there will be more than 75-ish people there.
By the way, with the kids, is it like, can you use any props? Like, can they use a chair to whack you over the head? Is it like WWE wrestling? Is it
no, Steven. Rule number 12 says no extra props.
I don't know what the rules are.
Because I make them up as I go along. That's why it says subject to Jared's rules.
You don't want him to grab that bell and bonk you over the head with it.
I will actually. The one kid, he knocked his broke half his sister's tooth.
Ooh,
with a lightsaber by accident.
By accident.
No, it was an accident. He was swinging it around playing lightsaber, and she walked in, and he hit her in the tooth.
I had a quick little story here when I was playing baseball, probably in like 3rd grade or something like that. One of the kids was about to bat next, and he's still doing his practice swing and everything, and didn't realize someone was walking behind him, and goes to swing, and boom, hits him right in the tooth and chips his tooth. And from that day forward, he was known as Chipper Jones.
Oh, that's
his
terrible.
favorite Braves player.
My brother got hit in the face with a bat too in junior high school because people just swing without looking. Yep, it's dangerous.
That's what he did.
All right, I got to eat some lunch, Steven. I got shit to do. All right.
Me too.
Thank you guys for listening to episode number 27. Jared Polin from photo.com. Bye, Steven.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Peace.
Have a happy day. Money truck. Bye.
Beep.